Hey everybody, welcome to Messy Kitchen Monday. I'm Brooke with The Buttered Home. If you're just joining us tonight, be sure you give us a comment. For the first time, can't even collect my thoughts. This time James just got me all out of whack. If you're just joining us for the first time tonight, be sure and drop your name and where you're watching from in the comments. We love to see where all of our viewers are from and are joining us every night. And my telephone that never rings is ringing right now. It's my mom. Hey, it is never a dull moment in this house, I tell you what. Everybody say hey to Gran. She just called. And, oh, it was Papa?
Yes.
It was my dad.
I forgot about that.
Everybody say hey to Papa. Because now he's probably going to go and get on. Maybe the delay will catch him and he can laugh at me being all surprised. I think I probably jumped when the phone rang.
That's never happened before.
We've gotten all the kinks worked out. Danny goes in the living room, we put the gate up, and he keeps the dogs in there. So at most, you always maybe hear Millie whining whenever she's not occupied. But the phone, my house phone that never rings, when you know it tonight, it's just, I guess it's indicative of it being Friday the 13th week. So anyway, we are glad you joined us tonight. We are continuing our month of tricking your folks into eating healthier, and we have a really, really good one tonight. One of my favorite things to do is stuffed cabbage, cabbage rolls, that type thing. I loved steamed cabbage and making almost like tacos out of it. It's really good. And but sometimes if you do the cabbage rolls like you do egg rolls, it can be a little daunting to make. So we've got the lazy person's dream for cabbage rolls tonight, and it's an unstuffed Mexican version of cabbage rolls. You might be surprised too whenever you find out what all is in it. I mean, it's just a huge amount of flavor that you're going to get in this recipe, and it's less than 400 calories a serving, and this makes a ton. So what I've got ready is half of it, so I want you to note how much is in my, like, I'm not going to dip it out and put it on a plate until after I show you how much is half. But when I make this, I usually make it in my large Dutch oven, because when you first put the cabbage in there, it's going to fill this 6-quart pot all the way to the top. But trust me, it'll cook down, and it's really, really good. So this recipe, what gives it so much flavor is chorizo. It doesn't matter if you use beef or pork. It doesn't matter. Chorizo is one of my favorites. We love chorizo and everything. We love chorizo and tacos. We love chorizo queso dip. If you haven't ever had chorizo queso, then you are missing out. Next time you go eat Mexican, I challenge you, even if it's not on the menu, to ask the restaurant if they have it, and it is fantastic. It's one of our favorite things. But you can buy a 9-ounce tube of chorizo at the grocery store for about $1, and it goes a long way. Like I said, you use a whole one in this recipe, as well as a pound of ground beef. So it's full of protein, really good for you. And this recipe, I don't have the nutritional information in front of me, but this is going to be a lower carb option for you guys who are doing keto or things like that. You're not going to spend a lot of your carb count here on this one. So for those of you who might be even watching your sugar, and sugar hides in the form of some carbs, so this might have a little more sugar in it, but you won't get the added sugar from all the starchy vegetables that normally go in like a soup or a stew. So this is a good one to have for several different diets that you might be following. But what I have here first is half. Of course, you know I do have to have it ready, and then I have the other half. This is half of a 9-ounce tube of, I believe I use pork chorizo in this particular, but you can use either, it doesn't matter. And then ground beef. I also have some yellow bell peppers and onions in here that I have sauteed and browned. And then whenever it was almost done, I added some garlic. And then we just let that garlic cook through for about a minute. And then we drain this. Now, here's the trick to this. Don't drain it too long, because if you drain it too long, you're gonna drain off all of the seasoning that's in the chorizo. So it may look a little greasy, especially when you drain it, but just know that's all the flavor that's in the chorizo. So the longer you let it drain, the less flavorful it'll be. So I suggest just drain it long enough just to get the majority of the fat off of it, and then put it back in your pan. And at this point, we are going to add some diced tomatoes. And I love these fire roasted diced tomatoes. They just add a whole lot of flavor. I mean, just a whole lot of depth of flavor. And then we're going to add salt, or your favorite salt substitute, and pepper. And just know, I don't normally give out all of the measurements on Messy Kitchen Monday for two reasons. One being, we try to keep these Messy Kitchen Mondays to less than 20 minutes. So sometimes if I get hung up trying to look at what my measurements are, it takes a little bit longer because we're looking up and looking down. Second reason is, we want you, when this recipe drops later in the week, to come and visit the Buttered Homes home, which is our website. Your visits to my website do a lot for me. So while I love seeing you all on Facebook and Instagram, it would mean the world to me if you all would just go peruse around thebutteredhome.com, because the more website visits I get, the better that is for the Buttered Home. I could just do a whole Messy Kitchen Monday on food blogging, just the business side of it, and you all would be surprised. I mean, it's so much more than what I thought it would be. It was not just taking pictures with my phone like I had hoped. But I like to tell people that I am walking, talking proof that you can teach an old dog new tricks, because in the last couple of years I've learned a lot, being Big D both, haven't we, baby? Yep. So to this, we are going to add some dried oregano. And the oregano just enhances the flavor of the chorizo. And then, of course, my favorite spice friend, smoked paprika. And this enhances not only the flavor, but the color too, because this is going to have a beautiful red color to it between the chorizo and the tomatoes. And now this, and we're gonna mix that up really well. And then I like to take my cabbage, and you can chop it however you want to, but I like to slice it into ribbons, and you'll see why. Because the finished product of this will almost give you the sensation that you're eating noodles, and it's not pasta. But if you have it in this shredded form, you know, these are about two inches long, and I have some chunks in here too. But that shreddedness, in my mind, my feeble mind, kind of, if I close my eyes really tight and don't think about it, then I might think I'm eating pasta, and I'm not. So we simply just take our meat mixture and just form a single layer on the bottom of the pan, and then we take our cabbage and we just put it right on top. Now I'm going to show you guys this, and this is a 6-quart pot that I have right here, and that's half a head of cabbage. So you see, it takes up a lot of room. So when you do the full recipe, you want to make sure you have a good heavy, probably 5 to 6 quart pot that you do it in. By all means, you can half this recipe like I did to have it ready for tonight, and it'll be enough for just 2 people. At this point, we cover it back up, we put it on low heat, and we allow it to simmer for about 30 minutes. Now I stir mine really good about every 10 minutes, but you do you. It just needs to be stirred pretty often, you know, as you can, because you want that cabbage to get down in there. and it will absorb the flavor from the meat mixture in there, and it's absolutely fantastic. Then when it's done, you turn the heat off, and then you sprinkle about a cup of mozzarella cheese on the top. I put the lid back on, just let it sit for about 5 more minutes, and it comes out just absolutely beautiful. And it looks like a pot of pasta. I mean, does it not? It looks just like a pot of pasta, and it's wonderful. And you have just this cheesy goodness on top, and you've got all those flavors from the peppers and the onions and the chorizo in there. And what you might think is a bland, boring dish turns into a fiesta in your mouth. And you didn't have to stand there and steam cabbage leaves and scoop the filling in and roll them up and put them in a casserole and then cook them again. This is done in probably roughly about 40 minutes. All truth be known. While you're browning your meat, you can prep your vegetables, so that saves you some time there. And this comes in at less than 400 calories per serving. It's fantastic, and you would never ever know. And every time I move the plate, Tanner's hand does like this. So I figure I better hand it off to her. But this is a great filling meal. This is something easy for a weeknight that you can do just really quickly when you get home from work or you get home from ball practice. And you won't have to spend all your calories on supper for the day. And to all you people who are not a fan of cabbage, if you don't like cabbage a lot, but you know that you need to probably eat more cabbage because it's a leafy green. Tanner's boyfriend, never been crazy about cabbage.
Hates it.
No, well.
He used to.
He used to hate cabbage. This dish right here, he at least ate, 2 helpings of it? At least 2 helpings of it. So if you have a picky eater in your house that you're trying to get to eat more leafy greens, then this is a good way to do it. You hide it in all of this rich flavor from that chorizo, because that chorizo does it. That chorizo is fantastic, and you get a full 9 ounces of it for $1. There's not much meat that you can buy these days that's that cheap. So it's also a cost-effective meal too. So trust me on this one, your family will love it. Even the people who don't love vegetables and even the people who don't love cabbage, I can testify to that to you tonight. And he wasn't trying to just make me happy either, because he told me that he was not a cabbage fan, because I love fried cabbage, and I made fried cabbage on New Year's Day, and he didn't eat any. So he, like I said, he ate, and so he was not worried about hurting my feelings. Jared, if you're watching, it's okay for you to chime in. But anyway, he wasn't worried about hurting my feelings. He ate this, and this was not all we had that day, so it's not that he didn't have any choice either. Nonetheless, and like I said earlier, it looks like pasta, and the cabbage is only cooked for 30 minutes, so it's not overcooked. Sometimes when people overcook cabbage, it can get kind of slimy and have a weird bite to it, and this is perfect. 30 minutes in there, the cabbage will sweat, and it will cause the liquid to get in there around the meat, and when you stir it, it'll all just kind of come together, and the cabbage is actually going to cook in its own juices in there while you have it covered. So this is a great, great low-calorie, low-carb dish that anybody would love to have. And it makes you look good as a cook too, I think. So this recipe will drop later in the week. If you are a Buttered Home VIP, you get it first. If you're not a Buttered Home VIP, you can become one tonight and hopefully get this recipe. I think you'll get it. Yeah, if you go ahead and sign up tonight, you'll get it first, just like everybody else. So for those of you on Facebook, go to the top of the page where it says sign up, and sign up for our subscription list. And those of you who are on Instagram, you can go over to our tap link in bio, and it will take you to our page, and you swipe through that beautiful plethora of food pictures, and go to the next, and you can go directly to our website where there is a sign up button at the bottom of the page, a sign up form. So we would love for you guys to sign up for our newsletter, because from time to time, especially around July, which is our blog birthday, we do a lot of extra special giveaways, and that will be here before we know it. I'm afraid. It's March, and it's felt like summer here for the last 3 days, so it's all kind of giving us a little bit of the summer bug here at the Buttered Home. Never fear though, Mother Nature's about to step in tonight and bring us some more rain. So for that, we are very thankful. We hope you will join us next week. March is a long month, so we've got, I think, three more tricking your family into eating healthy meals coming up for you for the rest of this month. So we're really excited about what we have left. Again, not sure what we're doing next week because I haven't planned that far in ahead. I've got all 3 of them done, but I just have to choose. What do I choose out of the ones I have left? That's going to depend what's in my pantry. Let's be real. Because I may or may not get back to the grocery store. I've made a promise to myself that I'll be going to the grocery store no more than once per week. And I've stuck to it. And I plan to continue sticking to it. But my folks are ready to eat this Mexican unstuffed cabbage. So we are not going to keep you any longer. We hope you will join us next week for our next Tricking Your Family into Eating Healthy meal. And you all have a wonderful week. And from the Buttered Home to your home, we love y'all. Bye.